Welcome to the Woman's Connection. I'm Barrie-Louise Switzen, your moderator. The Woman's Connection is a program about events shaping women's lives and helping one gain authentic power on a personal or professional level. So won't you stay tuned?
Welcome. When I first heard about the Gentle Wind Project, I was skeptical, curious, and thought it was a bunch of quackery. With me is Cynthia Knorr-Moore to talk about the Gentle Wind Project and how it can help heal us. And Cynthia, thank you so much for joining me.
Thank you for having me here today, Barrie.
Now, when I first heard about it, I was skeptical. What was your reaction when you first heard about it?
Barrie, my reaction was exactly as yours. Hold an instrument in your hand and you receive a healing. And I was just as skeptical because I come from a very scientific nature. I believe in research. I'm a nurse practitioner. And I really believe that you really have to have research on something to see its validity. A friend of mine, a colleague, brought this into my life after having seen his patients utilize it and had wonderful outcomes. And it was someone who I highly respected. So I felt that if they were seeing these wonderful outcomes, I wanted to see exactly what it did also.
Okay, now you've done some research on this.
Yes, I have.
All right, what kind of research have you done on it?
Well, what I did is, what we have here and what I'm going to do, Barrie, is just place it in your hand. This is the healing instrument. It's from the Gentle Wind Project. They're an organization, a non-profit organization that's been around for 20 years doing research on healing technologies. Very unusual. I'm a complementary medicine nurse practitioner, which means I utilize not only looking at, doing your diagnosis and ordering lab work for you and prescribing medications, but I also want to add in or complement those integrated modalities, meditation, hypnosis, yoga. So whatever integrated modality is out there, I want to add that into your treatment as a woman for stress. We as women nurture so many people, and that's a lot of stress. So I was looking for any technology out there. But again, it's something that we want to see if it's scientific. Basically, it's a healing instrument. You place it in your hand like that. And I'm going to have you hold it, Barrie, as we're here talking about it, for 5 minutes. That's all there is to it.
Well, how long does the healing last?
The healing lasts forever.
Forever?
Yes.
So all I do is hold it like this
hold
for
it for 5
minutes.
minutes, and the healing lasts forever. Now, let me explain.
Please.
Again, we go back to being very skeptical, and let's go back to really looking at the scientific basis on it and the research that I've done. This is a healing instrument that works on the energy field, which is not something that we can see. It's the etheric system, and it's something that really, any point in our life, any trauma, any illness, can be affecting the energy system. Now, we do measure cardiac, EEGs, we know EKGs, the brain waves, we look at EEGs, and we're able to measure it. But we have no technology now to do that. So in order to do that, we have to look at the outcome. Holding it in your hand for 5 minutes, I then took patients and I looked at 24 hours later, how did they feel? 48 hours later, a month later, 6 months later, and a year later.
Well, how long after, 5 minutes I'm holding this.
Right.
How long after the 5 minutes does it take for me to have, feel or have a healing process or know something has changed or shifted? I don't know what the right terms
Right.
are.
After the 5 minutes, you're going to begin to have restoration to that energy system. So you will find that things in your life that maybe were a struggle or a conflict now seem to feel better, seem to go away. The things that I started to look at were conflicts in life, pain, fatigue, depression, anxiety, and the general perception of health. And the way I did that was by using very scientifically based a visual analog scale. So 0 means you have no anxiety, no stress, and 10 means you have a lot of anxiety and a lot of stress. So before people even utilize this, I look at what is their scale. They were coming in with scales of 8. After using it, usually it goes down immediately. They feel more peace, they feel more relaxation.
Does anybody ever feel they needed to do it again?
Yes, it does clear the energy system. So from the time from birth, a lot of things can affect our etheric system, our energy field. But throughout our whole life, it's not going to change stress. Stress is always there. You know,
Unfortunately.
there's no such thing as a stress reduction program. You know, sometimes you see it advertised, stress reduction, and I want to be the first to sign up. You can't reduce stress, but you can change the way you perceive it. You can manage stress. This is a modality to help you manage those stresses in your life, should you be diagnosed with a chronic illness. And also I want to point out, Barrie, it's for people who are healthy, too, because we all have stress.
Okay, now wait, let's stop a second. You said it goes from birth to the present time,
Right.
when you hold it, and it clears everything out.
Yes, it does.
And it's almost like clearing it is clearing out the airwaves and
Right.
moving you forward.
Absolutely.
Now, what happens to you forward? I mean, do you pick up other things along the way, or just it automatically clears it out because it's...
It does two things. One thing, when it pushes you forward, you're now in a better situation
Okay.
to really experience life. Because you've had all those kind of things, those negative patterns that you've had. One very common research study that's been done on the Gentle Wind Project is women that have been in abusive relationships, codependent women. And after that clearing, it allows them the opportunity to break away from that. I have two patients.
Well, wait a minute. You said it allows them to break away.
Right.
They get more self-confidence in themselves?
Because their energy system has been cleared. Sometimes when that affects in your energy system, it's almost like a magnet attracting you to that situation over and over again.
Okay.
So when the energy field is cleared, now that's gone. So you now can see more clearly and you know, have a very positive outcome. I do have two patients, two women that were codependent, very abusive relationships. After doing the Gentle Wind Project healing instrument, just as you are, for 5 minutes, one in 1 month was able to break away from that relationship, and one in 3 months.
Oh, wonderful.
The first one, a wonderful story because it's been over a year now. She has now gone back to school, continued her education to become professional, raise her family, and have an income. And the second one has met a wonderful, humanistic, caring man, and in fact is getting married in August.
Oh, that's a great success
That's a great
story.
success story.
Okay. Now, there's different sizes, different types.
Yes.
All right. I'm just not sure which way to go with it because I don't know if I've been holding this for 5 minutes
Nope,
or not.
we're timing you. You still got a little bit yet.
Oh, good. Okay. So, do you know what this little part of this does, or is this...
The technology advances. This project has been around for over 20 years. The first person to originate the idea was an engineer who got an impression in his mind to build this healing instrument. It's you know, very similar to Igor Sigorsky, who had an impression in his mind and didn't even know what a helicopter was, but then brought it out into the physical world. And we understand helicopters, but we don't understand this because we can't really see or view the energy field of our body.
Well, it's interesting because I know people who can see the energy fields of bodies, of
Yes.
people's bodies, and they'll tell you it's red, green, or blue, or whatever.
Right.
And it all has some significance in what you're feeling and what you're thinking.
Yes.
Great. The questions to, oh, I know. In the literature that I've been given, it said that you're now putting it into various places around the world, actually, and they're donating a lot of the, I don't know if it's this particular piece, but they're making a lot of donations to people or hospitals or clinics or something in like Poland and India, and
Yes.
it's all over
Yes.
the world.
That's correct, Barrie. Over the 20 years of the technology advancing, now we're seeing it in healthcare. We're also seeing complementary medicine in healthcare, which is wonderful. It's not uncommon to see yoga, meditation, hypnotherapy as an integrated process to traditional healthcare. This is also a modality that's being used in cancer institutes throughout the country. It's being used with AIDS patients, and it's something that you may walk into a hospital and see a poster hanging or have that available for healing.
Now, you said cancer. What does it does it cure somebody of cancer or AIDS, or is it
No.
just the energy field?
No, it's clearing the energy field. And the Gentle Wind Project will be very clear to say that the purpose of this is not to cure disease. However, when we place ourselves in proper balance, we allow optimum health to occur. And when that does happen, I'm seeing incredible things in my research. I have a very high population of women with cancer. And first of all, it balances them emotionally. they feel wonderful. They feel less stressed. They feel that they're able to face their chemotherapy and make decisions in their life. It really helps to empower women. But I also have found something interesting, and again, the gentle wind will not say that it does cure illnesses, but I do have a cancer patient who utilized this over 18 weeks, and I know each week because I've been counting it as we're going along. We're on the 18th week, and had utilized the healing instrument and was receiving prior to that 4 to 6 blood transfusions every month.
Now, when she was wait a second.
Prior
To using it, she was receiving 6 to 8 transfusions. Did she use it just the one time?
She just used it the one time for a clearing,
Okay.
and then since then has not received any blood transfusions. And when it was 6 weeks into it, we found that pretty amazing. And now that it's 18 weeks in, her primary physician has said that she is in remission. So to me, some may say that's a coincidence, but I believe nothing in life is coincidence. It's all synchronicity. And to me, it could very possibly have had an effect on it.
Well, couldn't it, okay, so you're saying it's clearing the energy fields. Could it also be psychological?
Yeah, sure. But does it matter? That's always the answer, too.
Okay, it helps.
All complementary medicine modalities, you always have that placebo effect.
Right.
So if I tell you you're going to feel wonderful and feel energized after you hold that, is it the placebo effect or did it actually do that? But the difference is that I've done the research with it. And when people hold it, we see the same clinical outcomes all around the world. This is being utilized. And cultural differences don't make a difference. So from one part of the world to the other, we're seeing the same exact outcomes. It's done in a very scientific, there's been double-blind studies on it. The research is all throughout the world. Currently, I'm in a collaborative research project in Canada with 14 other physicians in a pain center. And the outcomes, the preliminary studies have been incredible for decreasing pain.
Oh, so I should give this to my neighbor to try for 5 minutes because she's got severe rheumatoid arthritis.
Absolutely, absolutely. It helps that, again, clearing the energy field and the effect on that. We definitely need more research to find out what other things. As I had said, the Gentle Wind Project will not come out and say it's going to cure disease, and thank goodness.
Right.
That's what made me as a healthcare provider feel that they're very reputable. There's two reasons. One is that they're not saying it cures disease. It's helping with the emotional stress of a chronic illness, or for all of us with stress in general. The other thing is that when you have a healing instrument, you have to sign that you will not charge people for that. To me, that was very legitimate. And it's not a money-making business. It's the way of healing the world one by one.
Because I know the people who are involved in it, they basically sold their homes, hopped everything to develop this modality.
Right.
That is phenomenal. Okay.
Okay, it's been 5 minutes.
It's 5
yes.
minutes, so I'm fine.
You're
Okay.
fine. That's it. Now,
That's it.
well, we would recommend that you can, of course, utilize it on a daily basis for support, for their stressful events. I always tell my patients, especially if they have a very stressful event in their life, to come back and to utilize it. I use it as an adjunct to their treatments and therapies.
But so, well, wait a minute. You said one time is enough for a lifetime.
One time is, yes.
But you just said to come back.
Only should you have, it's something that you can use again as a support, because every day we face stress. But
Right.
it's done a general clearing on your energy field. So think about all the stresses in your life that you've had, all the illnesses, that's been cleared out. But now, on a daily basis, more things, of course, happen. But you don't have to, Barrie. But it is there as a support for
Okay.
that.
So now you put it in my right hand versus my left hand.
That's just the way the technology is from the Gentle Wind, and they give you instructions as you are utilizing it for the healthcare providers.
Okay, because I know there's a clinic coming up, and if anybody wants to know about the clinic, they can contact me here at the Women's Connection, and I'll be very happy to send you information about it.
Right.
You also have other instruments with you. Well, no, you
Yes.
have a chart that's been shown behind you, so why don't we
Right.
go look at that?
Okay, sure.
Okay.
As it continues, the instruments, the technology continues, the instruments become more advanced and different. And this is the instrument that you're seeing in many healthcare facilities currently. A lot of the cancer centers do have this.
Really?
Basically, all a patient has to do is put their hand on this side, on the right side, and then place their hand anywhere that they choose to do it. There's no correct, right, or wrong way. It's kind of intuitive. You just kind of put your hand on the other side where you place it and leave your hand there for 3 minutes.
For 3 minutes.
Right, and that's how the healing occurs.
Okay, do they use this chart or is it?
They use this.
Oh, it is a chart that they actually use.
Yes.
Okay, so it's like.
Just place your hand on the right side.
Okay, so place my hand. Whoops, wait a
There
minute,
you
I'm
go.
tangled up here. Hold on.
It's very, very simple. So this is something that
Whoops.
I know of 2 hospitals on the East Coast and the Northeastern Coast that have it in their area, and they just have it right there for their patients to utilize.
So I stand
Very
here for
simple.
3. Now, what's the difference between this particular one and the one that was in my hand?
That's a good question. I'll tell you, first of all, the one in your hand is portable. You can bring that to your patients. This one is stationary. It has to be somewhere. But that's a good question. The technologies are different, and that's an answer that really the gentle wind would be very clear on what the differences are for each technology as they advance. They are on the website. They have an 800 number also. They're up in Maine, and people can contact for the specifics of that.
Now, you also said, I'm standing here, this is really a great position for your camera work.
That's
but
okay. You can turn around. That's fine.
Well, I wanted, do I get any enhancement by standing here for
No,
3 minutes?
really, doing your one was
Oh.
fine at this point. That's
Okay.
great.
Now,
Yeah.
you said you brought another one with you.
Yes, I do have one that's a tuning fork that's also different. Again, the technologies have been advancing, and as all technology does and inventions become, technology advances. This is the one that I'm seeing the physical healing on in my clinical setting. Again,
Oh,
the gentle
really?
wind will not, they will not say that, which is good, and
Okay.
I don't think we should say that until we see more and more research.
Right, because then it,
But I'm seeing people that utilize this, their pain decreases, they're feeling, they're feeling well, they're feeling energized.
so I'll stand here for 3. You have the, oh, this is really great. You have the, I call it the tuning fork. You brought that with you?
Yes, it looks very similar. It's going to
we
be
see
exactly the same as that, and it does have some tuning forks on top that are hit. It's very similar to this one. It looks almost identical, except it has tuning forks that are placed on and are hit for balancing.
Do you have it with?
Yes, I
Can
do.
we show
Sure,
it? I'd
sure,
love
we
to
can.
show it.
Okay, great. And right where you found that, there should be another one. There should be 3 of them. Now, I don't know how it works.
All right, now, you have this with you.
Right.
This is my tuning forks.
These are your tuning forks. This is just a very different technology, all coming from the same principles. For this, you would hold it in your left hand and hit the tuning forks. That's the
And
only
my
difference.
ears are ringing.
Yeah. Now, this is very common for us because this is almost sound therapy. I mean, this is how I relate it. But again, it's clearing that energy field
Now, how many times do you do that?
whenever you feel like you want to hit it. There's
For
no
how
right no right or wrong reason. Again, you're going to do that for 3 minutes.
For 3 minutes.
Yeah.
Okay, so now let me ask you, oh, you can't clear for everybody else. You're just clearing for yourself.
When you're holding it, you're clearing for yourself. You can do group clearings. There are ways to do that, in which someone would put their hand on and go around in a circle, and there's different instruments for group clearings too. So the advantage to that is that you could do a large group at one time.
But basically, there's no difference between the original, the tuning fork,
There is.
and this, there is.
There is. They have advanced the technologies, and again, that would be best answered by the Gentle Wind Project and the researchers there, but the techniques have advanced.
Okay, now, what would you say for people who want to use this? Does it matter how loud or
No, it doesn't
or
at all.
where at all?
No,
that you-
not at all. No. I would say, I always look at things low risk. It's a low risk. By holding it, nothing's going to hurt you or happen. I do believe that more research needs to be done. I recently had a patient, a female with panic disorder and also obsessive compulsive disorder. And first of all, I didn't think I would get her in my private office for a one-on-one, assessment, because she can't be in closed areas. She also can't drive. She has a driver, because when she drives just a block, she has to stop about every 15 times in a block period She feels as if she's run somebody over. So this is a very serious
And she's not even driving.
No, well, no, now she has a driver, so that she, that makes it easier for her. But she did go through the healing with this, and 3 days later she called me to tell me that for the first time she had experienced inner peace, and it was the first time in 8 years. Since then, this has been over a year and a half now, and since then she is now out socially. She has started a charity organization for foundation money, and she feels wonderful. Her life's in place. So, I still go back to being the same as you, Barrie, skeptical about it, but saying that there needs to be further research, because I see that this is the only modality that's been in this woman's life that changed, and whether it be placebo effect or not, we need to test that. But the research on it and the outcomes are just phenomenal.
How long have I been holding this?
That one's probably about 3 minutes, too.
Oh, it is?
Yes.
Okay. What happens if you hold it more?
I don't think you would have any effect with it, but you just want to do it for 3 minutes.
Okay. Now, if I wanted to do it for my crew, they would have to touch it?
Right. No, they would have to hold it.
Oh,
we can have them do that today, too, if they would like to.
Because I noticed, okay, so it's the tuning forks, and it doesn't matter which tuning fork?
It does. There's certain ones that go in.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
This is absolutely fabulous. I love this whole thing.
It's wonderful.
It doesn't matter which way it is, or it can be any way. It just doesn't
matter. It can be
matter.
any way. Nope, it can be any way as long as it's placed in the correct way. And it's just an amazing technology.
And how long before you saw results when it was done to you?
Personally, for myself,
Yes.
within 48 hours.
Within 48 hours?
Within a month, I saw a lot of changes. You're not going to believe it, but one of the first changes I saw was my ability to say no. That's one thing I've always had a problem working with, can you take on another project? Can you do this? I'm a full-time nurse practitioner. I have a family, and I'm always taking on as Den leader or Girl Scout leader and adding on to PTO, and yes, sure, I could do that. And I finally realized that self-care was important for myself. And, it was a very different change in my personality. And as soon as I started doing that, I said, well, not today. I can't do that because my family's going to come first, or not today because I have a project in my business that's important.
How did people react to you?
They were shocked because it was not me. But that was a good outcome because I learned to take care of myself.
Wow. And how long have you been affiliated with this?
Probably over 2 years now I've been doing it. And as soon as I saw it and did it for myself and saw results with it and started doing it on colleagues and friends, and we saw the results, we were very anxious to start a research study and began a pilot research. And in that research, we saw that it decreased pain, decreased fatigue, anxiety, depression, and an overall perception of health was increased. And that was the good thing.
Now, let's say, because the population is aging.
Yes.
What do you see going forward with this, if this is on track?
Well, I think that coming from being a nurse practitioner, prevention is the most important thing. I've been in the field for 20 years as a nurse, and I find that 20 years ago, people really weren't looking to prevent illness. They were waiting until they had an illness to go to the doctor and say, look, here's my illness, take care of it. But now I see a change around, and as a nurse practitioner, that's my primary goal, is to have women and families prevent illness. This is a way of doing that. If you can utilize this as a modality to decrease stress, to once again clear that etheric system, and then hopefully prevent illness into the future.
Wow. In the closing moments of the show, what would you like to leave the audience with?
I would like to leave the audience with they need to be open to different modalities of healing. That traditional medicine is very important, and that's why we call it complementary medicine. These modalities complement traditional. Lots of people like to say, well, I have cancer and I just want to, do this and be healed, and that's not how it is. You have to take your traditional, you take the best of both worlds, and more research on different complementary modalities such as these really need to be conducted so that we can use all of the available resources out there to heal mind, body, and spirit.
Wow. Cynthia, thank you so much for joining me.
Barrie, it was wonderful. Thank you for having me here today.
I can't wait till I feel a change. I guess that's the best word to say. I mean, it's a very unusual, very simple. I guess this goes back to the old adage of KISS, keep it simple, stupid. And it's a very simple thing. I don't know what's inside. I'd love to take it apart and find out, but I guess that would be revisable. And if you would like to hear more about the Gentle Wind Project, please contact me here at the Women's Connection. Bye now. Barrie's wardrobe provided by Jerry Richards, 530 7th Avenue, New York City, New York. The Women's Connection, brought to you by Igonomics, eyewear designed with physiology and comfort for the face and head, located at 229 East 79th Street, New York, New York, 10021.